Golf is allowed in England as of Wednesday. I cannot wait. So I decided to interview Darren Attwood, who is the general manager of Royal Jersey Golf Club. Now, they've been open 6 days now. I wanted to know how they have been coping and have those members been behaving. Let's go and have a look. Hello there, everybody. We have got the general manager of Royal Jersey Golf Club, Darren Attwood, with me today. Now, they have been open for a week, so they are ahead of the game, and we're interested to find out how your golf course is coping with, hopefully, the demand for more golf. I mean, first of all, how exciting is it that golf has been allowed back, and especially as one of the first sports?
It's pretty exciting for us. It was last Wednesday, obviously, when I've never seen so many members with smiles on their faces, all rocking up for their 10-minute tee times. But yeah, it was a big thing for us to open. Many people watching may know that golf continued in Jersey during the lockdown because we're Crown dependency, so we've got our own government. But we couldn't because of just the logistics of our course. But yeah, it's huge, and it's almost like a step back to normality, and this is where we've got to be careful that it's not normal. We've still got all these restrictions, but I am sure there's a lot of golfers cannot wait, won't sleep tonight, be like Christmas as a kid for tomorrow morning to come around.
Yeah, it sure will be. So Royal Jersey closed at the end of March when the UK government advised, that's correct? And
Correct.
Then you opened on May the 6th. So how come in Jersey you can open before England? Why is that?
So in Jersey, we're Crown dependency, we have our own government. And despite the fact that we follow the England golf guidelines and RNA and everybody else, they couldn't supersede what our government said. And our chief minister, which is our version of the prime minister, around about the couple of days after the announcement from the UK, said that golf would be allowed in the island. So there's 6 golf clubs in the island, 3 remained open, 3 remained shut. We remain shut because we're not on private land and public can have access. And as there's more public having access, dog walkers and other people using their 2 hours exercising, etc., we just felt that increased the risks, not only to our members, but also to our members of staff, wing season staff and course rangers, etc. So we took the decision, and it was quite a tough decision, to remain closed, despite the fact some very good friends were all playing golf in their other clubs. Yeah,
you must have had quite a lot of pressure from members saying, you know, they're open, why aren't we? How was that? How have you been communicating with your members during the 6 weeks or so that you've been closed? Have you found that people have gone, well, if you're not open, I'm going to cancel my subscription and go elsewhere? How have your members coped with the lockdown?
They have been amazing, and that's not trying to beef them up. They've been brilliant. I received over at least 55 emails to my email to say we're going to shut, totally supporting our stance compared to some of the other clubs in the island that remained open. And yeah, it seemed to be 100%. That's just 50% of the 50 emails that were sent to me. People were calling or talking to other members of the committee saying, you're absolutely right to close because of the situation, the logistics we had. Obviously, as the weeks went by, so we felt that we were going to be under pressure, but the members were still great. We also ran a takeaway service from the catering, so that was twice a week you could collect some food, and we were doing like 300 meals on a Thursday collection and a Sunday collection. And why that was important, not because of the golf side of things, it maintained a connection for the members to the club. They couldn't come down because the clubhouse was closed. They couldn't come down to play golf, but there was still a connection. I was sending out a menu twice a week with an update on how we're doing and a little bit of a quiz and some funny poems and stuff like that, just to try and keep our members connected to the club.
Brilliant. So let's get to the reopening. So May the 6th, it reopened. How many days did it take you to prepare? What did you do with your booking system? 2 balls. Talk me through everything you'd set out. Is it very similar to what's going to be happening in England at the moment?
Yeah, very much so. So we knew, even in the UK, I think probably 2 weeks ago, that we were inkling that things may have been relaxing, and likewise over here. So I'm a member of the GCMA, Southern Region, and there's 8 or 9 of us on a good friends that we started chatting about what what our guidelines would be, and we were sharing some ideas. There was even bigger during that course of that time. An official WhatsApp Southern Region chat group started of 50 plus guys, and they have been brilliant. So we're all shared, and it's all pretty much. So we had received a leaked document from our local government on Thursday, I think 30th of April, to say that restrictions were going to relax from Jersey. We were allowed 2 hours for exercise. That was going to increase to 4, but they changed the word exercise to social activity. And we just felt that, despite the fact that we still had the land that was, a lot of public were using it, because there's a lovely empty 77 acres of land, nobody on it. It was great to walk your dogs and exercise with your children, etc. So we're allowed to do 4 hours, and also meet with up to 2 other people from another household. So we felt that was the green light to go. But we got that, we got that leaked document. The Chief Minister's address was 2 o'clock on the Friday the 1st. So I flew out a very quick email to say we will be contacting you all over the weekend, because as soon as he said, he announced the relaxation of these, I knew that I'd get an inbox full of members saying, when are you going to open? I'd already prepared a document. The committee had approved the day before, so we knew what we were doing. We just had the weekend to or send an email to let the members know we're going to open. We bought 3 or 4 days. We weren't going to open until the 6th, and the reason for that was get the course ready. So the greenkeepers, they were just doing essential maintenance. They could just step it up, ready for a bit more of play. I needed to get out in our local media, and this was the important thing, that the golf course was opening on Monday, and people are only used to using an empty golf course. It's a completely different environment when you've got 200 members hitting golf balls around, and it's dangerous. And here we're opening on Wednesday. So that went out in the local press on Monday and Tuesday, just to buy us a little bit more time to prepare the public. And also, for the first time in 142 years of club's history, we've never had tea times outside of competitions. And I had to set them all up and get a working knowledge of it. So it was quite exciting. It was all under a timeline, but I did have a couple of days to prepare, set it up, sent the email, and the tea times went live 7 days in advance. And the first 4 days with 240 members for the first 3 days, filled within 2 hours, I think.
Wow. So what time was your first tea time? What time was your last tea time?
So 8 o'clock was first tea time, 6 o'clock last tea time, 10-minute intervals, 2 balls only, because you allow 2 balls outside. Slightly different what's happening tomorrow, I think. I'm allowed to play with someone else outside my household, as long as there's no 2 balls. So, and yeah, so that was split the course into 2 nines. So basically had 2 courses. That allowed at any one time 24 people on the golf course per hour. We're open 10 hours, so that's 240 people. And that's how we've continued and have done on day 6 today.
So have you been pretty much full for 6 days now?
Apart from yesterday, when it was blowing a force 8. And there was a lot of cancellations. And those of you who play golf on links courses, force 4 to 5's playable, force 8 is just impossible. But there were a few went out.
Has there anybody been complaining that they can't get a tea time, not being able to use online stuff? Have you had a few complaints?
Just a few techie issues, but I think that's probably down to members not being that tech savvy, and we've been able to, they phone the office, we've been able to sort them out, so that's not a problem. The first 3 or 4 days there wasn't a tea time, but even now we're allowing tea time 7 days in advance. And even today, even at this weekend coming, back 9 Saturday afternoon, there's probably 3 or 4 tea times available. And Sunday's always traditionally quiet at the club. I think maybe it's the same with clubs in the UK, but certainly at our club, it's more of a family day, and it's the quietest afternoon on the course, and that's the same for this Sunday. There's probably about a dozen tea times available. So we are restricting for the initial first couple of weeks, members to only book up to 4 tea times, because we just want to make sure that everybody's desperate to play, we all are, but everybody can get on the golf course and get some fresh air and play some golf. And then as I think that not the novelty wears off, I think when people maybe going back to work a little bit more, there's a lot of working from home, that will release tea times in the day. And it's a bit of self-discipline. We're just trying for every member to be fair and equitable to their fellow members, and not be selfish and say, yeah, of course, I'll limit myself, even though they're chomping at the bit to get out again.
So is it still only 9 holes, or are you going to open up to 18?
9 holes at the moment and 2 balls. We're playing it by it, we're closely monitoring it. That they have been amazing, the members now. I think we've been used to social distancing now for 6 or 7 weeks, queuing up to go to the supermarket, get your petrol car. We know about the 2 meters. And whereas when they first came in before we closed, people weren't quite social distancing. It's much better today. And I think we just got used to it. So everybody's round in an hour and 20 minutes. And if this continues, then obviously there's going to be a call to play either 18 holes or at least increase the numbers, so we could go to 3 balls. Both has the pros and cons. If you're allowed to play 18 holes, you'll only get 120 different people on the golf course one day. Whereas 9 holes, you can 240, 3 balls, you'll increase those. But it's 50% more people being able to congregate in the car park, on the holding areas before they get to the tee. And you don't want to start trying to encourage gatherings and congregations, which we're still pretty much not allowed to do, over X amount of number.
So how many active members do you have?
We've got 800 playing members.
Okay.
So that's quite a lot for 18-hole course. So active, we've probably got 50% of them are active, but play, I'd say, once a week.
So it's
less so
important
competitive.
to have the 240 available playing spots, isn't it? To keep everyone happy. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. So once again, I assume no rakes, ball washes out. Is that all what was like before? Yep. Do they have to wait in the car park before they go to the tee?
Yeah, we're asking them to come down the minimal time as possible, just to get your kids on, get your shoes on. Locker rooms are out. Allowed to go into locker room once if you haven't taken your golf clubs out of the locker room or your kit. Take that out. You're not allowed to put it back. Live out the back of the car for the time being. But most people we're asking people to check in with our course rangers and marshals just to make sure we know that the right people are out on the golf course, because we still have public walking their dogs, etc. as well. So there's still that risk, more so than some of the other clubs in the island that haven't got access by other public. So we just want to make sure we might relax that in future, but it's just baby steps for us to return to golf before we open up and start relaxing. But I'm hoping it won't be too far down the line that we can start either increasing numbers from 2 balls to 3 balls, or going the whole hog and being able to open for 18 holes. Both have pros and cons, and we're only 6 days into it. We just want to get as many people playing golf as possible. And I think my colleagues in the UK are going to be going through this over the next 5 or 6 days as well. They just want to get as many people out there, members happy, smiling and playing golf.
So locker room shut, clubhouse is shut. Is there any toilets available?
Yeah, we've allowed downstairs toilets with, strict one way in, one way out, and sanitising and everything else in there.
Pro shop, practice facilities?
Pro shop's open. So our pro's retained. It's his business, and he is open. And the only allowing 2 people into any one time, and that's fine. And he's got a one-way system, and he's got sanitizers, and he's got all the rest of it. We haven't got a driving range, we've got a practice ground, which we closed because as soon as we say we're open, we're just going to get a load of people down there. Exactly the same with a practice putting green. There's a small putting green next to the first, so anybody that's waiting for their tee off, they can have a quick putt. We've got a couple of nets that we opened as of tomorrow, purely for people to loosen up for a couple of minutes before they go to the respective tee. We don't want to see members there spending an hour and a half trying to having a personal lesson, whatever. And our pro does own a golf range, which is about 10 minutes away from the club, and he opened today. But I don't know, that it's nothing to do with the Royal Jersey Golf Club as such. But you know, all the bays are pretty much 2 meters apart, and he's got all the social distancing restrictions in place.
So explain to everybody that first morning. I assume that you went to work on that Wednesday. What was it like? Were people excited? Were people a little bit nervous about playing golf for the first time, seeing, you know, being out in the fresh air? What was it like? Was it very strange?
It was, because everybody was smiling. The weather was stunning. It was about 24 degrees, hardly a breath of wind, and it was just the most gorgeous spring day to play golf. So that helped, and it was great. Everybody's chatting, social distancing. You know, I've been working in and out the office over the last few weeks, but to actually see some members and being able to chat to them was really good. But no, everybody was really excited, just so happy. So many thank you, thank the committee for opening. It's the right decision, but we are desperate to play golf, and off they went, and they didn't care how they were playing. It was just a matter of getting out there, being able to talk to their mates face to face, as opposed to doing this or FaceTime in house party or just phone calls. So yeah, it was, as I think I mentioned before, there's a lot of people where they said it was like Christmas Eve when we were children, you know, last night, couldn't wait. So, and it's still the same now. Even yesterday at 4-8, I still had a dozen people going out because they wanted to get out and play, enjoy it.
How is your golf course playing at the moment? Is it where it should be in May?
Not quite, because obviously we did follow the bigger RNA guidelines of essential maintenance. So we split our teams into 2, so we can only do the essential stuff. But the feedback I've got from members in the last 6 days is how well the team have done. They, you know, had a lot of emails and it's in good nick. I was out there this morning with a meeting with the head greenkeeper, and the definition is just starting to come. The tees and fairways are amazing. The greens, they're just a little bit bumpy because they've been at 6 mil. We're usually down to 5 at the moment. So he's just dropped them, but they need a top dress, which we'll be able to do now in the next week or so, and I think that will be fine. They were great last week with the weather, but now we've got the northeasterly winds, and that is just a killer for us. Any growth now for the next couple of days is gone. So, but no, actually, Alan, who's the head greenkeeper, he was saying, well, I'm not sure if we're going to get a few complaints, because he was quite pessimistic about it, but it was actually very positive. So, and I played once, I played Saturday, and I sent him a text and said, yeah, great, well done. We haven't got any of the bunkers in play, they're all GUR, just because we haven't got the manpower to do that, just the normal things that I think that's happening in the UK as well. But generally, yeah, for early May, and bearing in mind, I think with global warming or whatever, the seasons are shifting, and we don't really see some really decent hot weather until prolonged hot weather till June now, where we used to get it in April, May. I know this April has been probably a little bit out of the ordinary, but yeah, I think it's a pretty good mix we have. So to be fair, so when they opened up last Wednesday, I got lots of positive feedback from the members, which was really encouraging.
Yeah, have you had any problems? Has there been anywhere, I don't know if there's a bottleneck on the golf course, say, where it's easy for people to mix? Have you had to remind people to do the social distancing? Yeah, I mean, it's easily to forget, I suppose, especially when you're going back to doing something which is quite normal to you.
I think that's a fair point. You know, you just kind of, you know what we're like in a golf course, you all just encompassed in concentrating in a game, even in a friendly, and chatting away. And it's easy for two people, isn't it? Be walking down the fairway from 6 foot, and they all of a sudden they just start migrating together, because that's what we're used to. But we haven't seen it. We're fortunate we haven't got any bottlenecks. Our 2 9s, okay, there's a fair bit of walk to get out to the 10th tee. But it's only just when people are finishing the 18th. It's just the car park, really. And, you know, our course ranger's not actually doing much out in the golf course, because the 10-minute intervals for 2 balls, there's hardly an issue with slow play. There's, you know, he doesn't be out there. It's more important to be a marshal in the car park. My office overlooks the car park, and I think people, as I said, they've got used to it now. 6 weeks of getting used to social distancing, and you know, I think some of the ladies that want to come up and give their mates a hug, and then all of a sudden they stop and go, "Oh, can't do that." So, yeah, it haven't had an issue. There's, I just have to, you know, constantly remind people that, you know, be thoughtful of your other members. Don't book more than 4 spaces, because we've limited that. You know, just do that, and then that allows everybody to play. But that's just and a couple of people are turning up a little bit too early because they want to have a chat, and we don't want to encourage that yet either. So they're the only, I suppose, the only social distance warnings I've had to give is don't turn up too early before your tea time, because if you do, then it's going to be, the more people you've got in the car park, the more difficult it is to social distance.
Yeah, and this golf ranger, is it something that you've always had, or have you had to employ one just for this reason? No,
we've had course rangers now probably, I've been a GM for 20 years, and I've been a member for a lot longer, and I remember we always have a ranger going back to the late, in the 80s. So we've got a team of rangers. They're basically just to keep play moving, and obviously with other people being able to use the course, you know, they're there to advise, you know, it's dangerous, keep to the perimeters, etc. So they're just at the moment acting as starters, if you like, as opposed to doing any ranging. I think once we get up to 3 balls and opening up to 18 holes, we won't need members to check in. I think they'll all be used to just going to the correct tees and social distancing, and then they can spend a little bit more time on the golf course if it's need be, doing their rangering type job, if you like.
Have you had any interest about people wanting to join? Has the interest increased? Because
we're in a fortunate position that we have a waiting list, which is probably 10 years in length. So we haven't got any vacancies right now. But I've had a few since we opened. It was in the press that we were reopened because of the danger in the public, as I alluded to before. I had a few people saying, when can I get a green fee? Can I play? I'm not a member. And we have to prioritise our members. They're the one who are paying a substantial amount of money every year to play in their subscription. We need to prioritise them for the time being. That'd be something else. We'll probably relax that and allow a member to bring a guest in a few weeks or month in the coming weeks and months. But as opposed to pure green fees, you know, we don't know yet. We haven't discussed that at committee, and obviously that's another decision of bringing income into the club, but not taking up tea times for your members. That's a tricky balance that we're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, not for membership, unfortunately.
No, you're very lucky. I think guest fees will be something which will come in, and then you'll have to look at competitions and stuff like that eventually. But for now, I suppose it's very much just the novelty of playing golf. Have you had anybody that's like non-golfers which don't agree with what's happening with golf courses opening? Have you had a bit of a backlash in any way?
No, I think there was one letter in the local paper with regard to one of the clubs in the first week that they remained open and we didn't, and that was about it. And one of their members responded a week later, but we haven't had anything negative at all, but which is great for us. But I can understand that in the UK it can be seen that, you know, it's the moral kind of dilemma of people playing golf, and when there's people, you know, dying and catching the disease. I can understand that if that has happened in the UK, but unfortunately we haven't had that over here.
yeah, your cases have been a lot lower than ours, which is good. Right. So Darren, you've got to give one piece of advice for Wednesday in England, the general managers opening their golf courses to the members. What would you give them?
Enjoy it, because it's great to see all your members back, and they will be smiling. Even the miserable ones will be happy. And I would just say enjoy the day, because it is special. There was a different atmosphere, even though there wasn't so many people at any one time. There was some atmosphere, and just make them feel welcome as best you can, and it was a really fulfilling day.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated.
Well, that was nice and positive, and they had some good weather for the opening, which is great. I do think the 9 holes is a very good idea to make sure you keep as many members happy as possible. Thank you for watching the video. If you've enjoyed it, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all soon. Enjoy the golf, guys.